Hi everyone, it's Danny and today I'm filming this bronzed makeup look. It's just a really glowy skinned makeup look with like bronzed eyes and glowing bronzed contoured cheeks and nude lips and things like that. It's just a very fresh, summery evening look, I would say, which is perfect for sort of a formal occasion or prom or anything like that. And you could always use a red lipstick to make it a bit more oomph, or you could make the eye makeup a little less dramatic for sort of the daytime, but the main focus is really the skin, making it really glowy and fresh and radiant. So yeah, continue watching if you want to see how I achieved this makeup look. Okay, so first of all I have sort of prepped my skin with all my skincare, etc. I did that a few hours ago, but I just did my normal skincare routine, but I also used the Ren Glycolactic Radiance Mask or something like that from Space NK, and that's really helped to make my skin look a bit more radiant, along with the rest of the skincare products I use, which are all quite radiant and fresh. And first of all, I'm going to prep my skin for my foundation with a primer, and I'm going to use the Laura Mercier Radiance Primer, as this is perfect for a radiant look like this. And I'm just going to squirt a bit out and apply that all over my face. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go in with my foundation, and because this is a radiant look, I'm going to use my YSL Teint Touche Eclat foundation, and I'm in the shade BD50. You could also use a similar foundation from the drugstore, which is Rimmel Wake Me Up. It is different, but it has the same sort of radiant effect, but I'm just going to use this one today. And I'm going to pump a bit on the back of my hand and then sort of dot it around my face. And I'm then going to buff it in with a buffing brush from Real Techniques. If you have oily skin, I would suggest either only using the Radiance Primer or only using the Radiant Foundation, because I think if you have oily skin, the Radiance may be a bit too much along with the natural shine of your skin. But you can easily take away some of the shine with powder, but there's no point using two Radiant products and buying two Radiant products if it's just going to make your skin look a bit OTT. But for me, I have sort of normal skin, slightly combination, so I can get away with it, and this is perfect for dry skin as well because it just makes your skin look so healthy and fresh. So now that the foundation's all buffed in, I'm going to go on to concealer. And first of all, before I actually apply my concealer, I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Tinted Eye Brightener. And I have the shade Light Medium Peach. And I'm not sure if you're meant to use this before or after foundation, but I just always forget before, so I always use it after. And I just apply a small bit under each of my eyes and dab it in with my finger. I love this product because it just really brightens the under eye area. It means you don't have to use so much concealer, and it's much better than their creamy corrector and creamy concealer because it's just so much more hydrating. But if you have oily skin, again, maybe go for the creamy corrector or concealer. Next, I'm going to go in with my Benefit Boing concealer and just conceal any sort of redness around my nose and any blemishes. Okay, so next I'm going to move on to using my Rimmel Wake Me Up concealer, and I'm in the shade Classic Beige, which is shade 30, and this is a little bit lighter than my skin, but the reason for this is because I use it to highlight. I just sort of create a V on my cheekbone and under my eye, just like that, and then I blend it in with my foundation brush. I also run the brush down my nose just to put any excess there and on my cupid's bow, and I blend it in afterwards with my finger. Okay, so now that's done, I sometimes go back in with my Benefit Boing concealer and just put a little bit sort of here and here if I have a little bit too much darkness that hasn't really been covered up too well, and it just makes it look a little bit brighter. I'm just going to let that all sink in and move on to my brows, and I'm using my eyebrow pencil in Spiked by MAC, which is what I always use, and just filling them in, but I'm going to fill them in slightly differently to normal this time. So I'm going to use a brow pencil sort of for the outer half, and then I think I'm going to fill in the inner half with a eyeshadow just to make it a little bit more natural. Okay, so now that I've used the brow pencil, I'm going to go in with the eyeshadow, and the one I'm going to be using is Brun by MAC, which is just a sort of cool toned brown, which is perfect for the brows. And I'm going to use an angled brush for this. This one's by Elf. Okay, so that's the brows, and they don't look natural, but what I mean is they look less harsh at the front, so it makes your face look a lot more open. I'm just going to brush my brows through with a spoolie just to get rid of any excess. I'm now going to set my brows with the Elf Wet Gloss Lash and Brow Clear Mascara, and I think this is really good for setting your brows in place. And I used this earlier, so I'm only putting a tiny bit on because they're still pretty set. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go back and set my face makeup with the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder, and I have the shade Silky Beige, and it just looks like this. And I'm just going to set my under eye concealer with the Real Techniques setting brush, and also on top of my lid, and just a bit around my nose and slightly on my chin. And we don't want to set too much because obviously it's a radiant look, but if you have oily skin then definitely set your whole face with a light powder like this. And I'm going to do a tiny bit on my forehead. And I find using this brush makes your face remain quite glowy and not too matte. Okay, so next I'm going to take my Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel bronzer, and I'm just going to take my Real Techniques stippling brush and stipple it in, and then sort of kind of contour my face, but kind of just sort of warm it up, because I'm going to go back and contour. This is just sort of warm up the outer perimeter. Now if you don't have this product, because it is £30 for a bronzer, then you can always skip this step or use another cream bronzer that you have, and if you know of any then do comment down below to help everyone else out, because it's always nicer to find a cheaper alternative. But I really do love this product, you get loads, and so it's just going to last ages. And I find it's great for a look like this, just to really warm up the face and make it look really bronzed and healthy. Next I'm going to contour with the Sleek Contour Kit contour powder, and mine's in the shade medium, and I usually use the contour brush by Real Techniques, but today I'm going to use a blush brush because I think it makes it look a lot more natural. And I'm just going to dab that in and contour. Okay, so as you can see, by using both the Tan de Chanel and the contour powder, it makes this face look very bronzed and healthy and structured, while still keeping the middle very fresh and light, which is exactly the look that I was going for. And so next I'm going to move on to highlights, and I always do sort of my face makeup, then my brows, and then the rest of my face makeup. But that's just the way I do it. And for highlighter I'm going to use the Kevyn Aucoin Celestial powder in Candlelight, and it just looks like this as a brush here, but it always falls out, and it's a beautiful highlight. And I'm going to take that on the Real Techniques contour brush, just pat that in and pat it on the tops of my cheekbones. I'm also going to take a little bit down the centre of my nose, on my forehead and on my cupid's bow. The final face step is blusher, and I'm going to use this sleek blush in Rose Gold. It's a lovely corally pinky colour with gold shimmer. It's very similar to NARS Orgasm or maybe even Super Orgasm in the kind of effect it gives. And I'm going to take that on a Real Techniques blush brush again and just do it very lightly, just to give a little bit of colour. Okay, so that's the face done, and now I'm going to move on to the eyes. And first of all, I'm going to use my Clinique Chubby Stick for Eyes in the shade Full of Fudge. Just put that all over the lid. Now this looks awful, and I'm then going to blend it out with the Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush. Okay, so now for eyeshadow, I'm going to take the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette, and first of all I'm going to take Half Baked with the base shadow brush, and if you want to see, Half Baked is this shade just here, and I'm going to take that all over the lid with the base shadow brush. Okay, so next I'm going to take Snake Bite, which is this colour, and I'm going to use the base shadow brush again and take that through the crease. And I'm also going to take that underneath the lash line, the same brush, very lightly in sort of the outer corner area only. And now I'm going to blend this out with the MAC 217 and just make sure it's really blended. Okay, so now on the same MAC 217 brush, I'm going to take Booty Cool, which is the highlight colour here, and just highlight my brow bone. And also my inner corner. Okay, so now for mascara, I'm going to use the Revlon Grow Luscious Mascara, and this is just a black mascara which I really like at the moment, and I'm gonna coat my lashes. Okay, so now I'm going to use a tiny bit of my Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara, just because I want a tiny bit of definition on the bottom but not too much. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to line my waterline with Rimmel Scandalized Waterproof Kohl Kajal in bronze, and I just recently bought this but I thought it would be perfect. It's a lovely alternative to black or brown because it's quite glowy, so I think it really makes the eyes pop, especially for sort of brown eyes or I don't know, maybe green eyes or even blue eyes, any colour. I think it would look brilliant. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is lips, and I'm going to use my YSL Rouge Volupte lipstick, and I have the colour number 3, and it's a lovely sort of nudie colour but not too nude, I guess. I think it's perfect. Those lipsticks are so creamy and so nice feeling on the lips. They're so moisturising and I really love them, and I think that they're worth the money. Another thing you could do if you don't want to sort of splash out on a lipstick like this is maybe use a matte lipstick you already have and put a gloss over it, or there are lots of sort of shiny lipsticks like this in the drugstore now, in sort of, I don't know, L'Oreal do some I think, but yeah, you can find them sort of everywhere now because they're quite popular. But this is the finished look. I just think it's very glowy. It's perfect for the evening because it's just really bronzy. You could always make the eye makeup less dramatic for the daytime, and the skin is just really fresh and glowy and healthy looking, and the lipstick is just not too much. You could always swap it for a red for the evening as well, but I like it with the nude. And yeah, so this is the makeup look. And if you want more information, all the products I use will be listed in the down bar and with all my links. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. And also any sort of video requests, leave down below. I'm thinking to do sort of like a prom makeup tutorial or prom hair tutorial, something like that, because my prom is in like 2 months and so will other people's be. So yeah, if you want a video on that, then I can definitely do that. And yeah, so like this video if you like it, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And yeah, this is the finished glowing bronze makeup look. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!